Are we about to see a crypto pump in the next 24 hours? Plus, could the US actually see a 0% capital gains tax on crypto soon? Then, Solana and Ondo are bringing RWAs to the masses, and the Robinhood founder thinks it could be the next big thing. This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, Altcoin Buzz IO, and as always, not financial advice, and wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Alright, good morning you guys. Bitcoin is looking actually really good here. I like how it's looking. It's been consolidating for multiple days now. It looks like it wants to pump to the top of the range sooner than later. We've had a couple of just, down and up candles here in this mid-range. The fact that we haven't broken down below this mid-range is bullish to me, like I've been saying yesterday. Nothing too much has changed on the whole, TA for Bitcoin side of things, but just how the candles are shaping up and forming today, it looks very bullish to me. This is before New York Open, so things could change. But I really do like how things are looking today. And I do think sooner than later we go towards the top here. So let's get into the news. Starting off today, we have a big day for crypto holders. The U.S. House scheduled a hearing on crypto tax policy today. There's been some rumors that a 0% capital gains tax will be implemented on U.S.-based tokens. Now, I don't know how factual that is or if it's possible. I know it's something that they would prefer to do because if it is 0% capital gains tax on U.S. cryptos, then it'll bring more crypto innovation to the U.S. and people will be more likely to launch a crypto token in the United States if there are 0% capital gains taxes and all kinds of benefits that the U.S. wants to give. They also are just kind of planning in general to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. So they are trying to do all kinds of things to bring more innovation back into the U.S. instead of driving away like the last administration. And then we have Coin Bureau saying 108K Bitcoin is still undervalued. Looking at Bitcoin's Mayor multiple at 1.1x, just 10% above its 200 DMA, and well below the 1.5x overheated zone, CryptoQuant's Adler Jr. says Bitcoin remains undervalued even at 108K. October 2025 is speculatively the next potential market top. We also have Titan of Crypto saying a Bitcoin a cycle top 17 weeks ago. Historically, it took around 53 weeks on average for Bitcoin to reach its cycle top after the US election. We're currently at week 36 post-election. If history repeats, that leaves us with 17 weeks to go. So pretty much what everyone's saying, if we go to typical market cycles tops, we will be topping in Q4 this year. Although it is possible because market cycles have been a little bit different this year, or this cycle, that we could be extended into Q1 or Q2 as well. But I think a lot of big things are coming in the next quarter. And we have Solana Floor saying the total value locked of tokenized rolled assets on Solana has surged to 418 million, a new all-time high. Growth over 150% in the past 3 months. Total users 53,000, up over 600% in the last 30 days. So RWAs have been doing big numbers on Solana especially. And with Ben Grossman saying a fun fact, $254 million, or 60% of all Solana RWA TVL, is from Ondo Finance. Meanwhile, the Solana ETF has seen $41 million in net inflows so far in just what is a couple of weeks now. And we also have Ondo Finance saying tokenization is the best innovation to come to the capital markets in the past decade. That's how the Robinhood CEO Vlad describes tokenization. He points to something powerful. The future won't be either crypto or traditional. It will be both.
Well, for tokenization in the U.S., we do believe that the SEC has the authority to make it happen without legislation, which is interesting. And you probably saw last week, Chairman Atkins of the SEC gave an interview about tokenization. He called it a great innovation. And we agree with that. We think tokenization is perhaps the biggest innovation to come into capital markets in the past decade. So I think the U.S. shouldn't be far behind. I think the opportunity is too large to ignore, not just for retail, but also institutional. And I think they're keen. They're having tokenization roundtables at the SEC, which we've been a part of.
Now, a lot of the altcoins look pretty similar right now, where we are forming this kind of like basing level where we are about to break out, I believe. And so a lot of altcoins kind of look like this right now. We could have a little bit of a pullback, but I do think we head higher. It's kind of that cup and handle kind of meme, trend line that we see. But overall, this looks very good. It's been consolidating in this level. It's kind of forming this rounding basing bottom here. And I do think we head back to this level at 165 in the near future for Solana as well. Like I was saying, if we could trade and if you could get anywhere around 140, 145 to 150 of a buy area for Solana, I think it's probably a pretty good area because I do think we head back to these levels pretty soon. And Solana, I think all altcoins pretty much look the same as Solana does right now. We have Ondo as well, pretty much the same thing. We had this level reclaim. We took out the stops here. We reclaimed this level and we were saying, if you can buy around 74 cents, which we got the other day, We are probably going back to the top of this range around at 90 cents very soon. And it looks like it's, it's almost halfway there for Ondo right now. So Ondo looking pretty good as well. Altcoins are up from the April lows, but mostly non-trending, and people are getting antsy for when the alt season will finally start. Sui is one of the select few who are at the heart of the growth in the current cycle, and it's quickly becoming one of the leading alts in the market and is up over 200% in the last 12 months. So let's check out why. Sui is killing it in all the big sectors it supports, like DeFi, where Sui nearly crossed $2 billion in TVL and is almost at $1.5 billion in record time. Sui has some of the fastest stablecoin growth of any chain, so people are using it for real transactions. Walrus is changing the game in decentralized data storage. Its token launch was a big hit, while Seal and Nautilus make things more secure and private. The Sui Play OX1 is coming in September and is now officially sold out with 10,000 pre-orders. Sui even has a small but growing meme coin market for meme coin lovers. If you haven't used Sui lately, then come give it a try and follow Sui's X account for all the latest updates linked down below. And then moving on, we have John Woo saying today the Detroit Pistons announced a new fan engagement program, the Piston Rewards, in partnership with Uptop XYZ, powered by Avax. Similar to the program Uptop X Avalanche, built for the Cleveland Cavs, Detroit fans can now earn loyalty points on everyday purchases like grocery stores, restaurants, and more. We also have Projective Finance has launched a $7 million on-chain solar lending protocol on Avalanche. So the company launched a $7 million on-chain pool to fund solar projects in Illinois' public schools. Projective Finance is using Avalanche, a scalable blockchain network, and this bridges DeFi investors with low-risk, government-backed projects via its on-chain solar lending pool. This initiative marks a turning point in how traditional public finance can integrate with blockchain. What traditionally requires multiple intermediaries, fund structures, and minimum investments in the tens of millions can now be accessed directly with full transparency. So Avalanche, like Ondo and Solana, is forming this base here, which I do think is about to break up. We've had, multiple taps of the lows here, and now we're starting to coil up here, and I think we're probably going to break out back to this level here towards $22.65. Whether you want to take a long or you want to buy it here, I do think this is probably a pretty good level to get to the next level here. Overall, most altcoins are looking the same, and unless something catastrophically changes, I do think we head back towards these highs at this next level around $22.50 very soon for Avalanche. So Avalanche looking good. And then we have the Ethereum co-founder Joe Lubin that says it's time for ETH to follow Bitcoin's playbook, building treasury reserves to balance the supply and demand.
If you take a look at the ratio, ETH to BTC ratio, it's been pretty much coming down for the past few years. Why is that? Why do you think there's that discrepancy?
So Bitcoin has had a very clear narrative, and it's got a value proposition that people can understand and get behind. It's had Michael Saylor doing a really good job growing the brand and buying lots of Bitcoin. Ethereum, so Bitcoin's value proposition is now. Ethereum's value proposition has been perceived to be in the future. We've been building scalable infrastructure, layers of enabling infrastructure for about a decade, anticipating that all the activity of the internet and the web will move to Web3, and Web3 is really the natural evolution of the web protocols, sort of a re-decentralization of the World Wide Web. So Ethereum is scalable enough, affordable enough, legal enough in the United States. It's very usable right now, but we haven't had the applications, and we haven't had the consumer end users and the enterprise end users because former Chair Gensler made it really unattractive to use tokens or issue tokens or build applications in our ecosystem. So that is all behind us. We still have a lot of Ether out there and not enough activity to sop it up. And so that's a reason why we and others are doing the Ether treasury strategies.
Yes.
Not only is it a great business to run, but it's going to be critical to enable the supply-demand dynamics of Ether to right size as we build more and more applications.
We also have ETH outpacing Bitcoin in daily volume. You're not bullish enough. So this is one of the times where ETH is actually looking better than Bitcoin. And we have Coin Bureau saying big players are stacking ETH. 5 Ethereum treasury companies now hold 240,000 ETH, and they're not selling. Smart money is betting big on ETH. Is Ether reserve next to Bitcoin? And we also have BitDigital shifts their entire treasury to ETH. BitDigital CEO says most people feel like they missed out on the Bitcoin wave. Ethereum represents that next wave.
By the shift, if you look at what's been happening lately, it's been really interesting to watch a lot of the American public take a closer eye at Solana, at Ether, at assets outside of Bitcoin. Why the shift for you?
Well, look, coming from an institutional background, I've been in this space for many years now, and I've watched investors feel like they missed on the Bitcoin wave. Ethereum represents that next wave. And so that is important to show investors an opportunity to catch up in a way.
So ETH is actually one of the better looking coins right now. We were saying if we can hold above this level here on 25, 30, if we can hold above this level for a couple days, we are probably going back to this level pretty quickly, and it's starting to look like we're going there now. So ETH is a little bit farther in its in its progression upwards than a couple of other coins, but I do think this is what happens. I do think we head back to the next level here for Ethereum, and then other coins follow as well. What happens at the top of the range, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if anything drastically changes. But I do think we will break through this time. We've tested this level multiple times. We almost broke through here, but if we can break back above 2,800, I think we're going to the mid 3,000s pretty quickly. So ETH looks very good in my opinion, and I think we're going to be back above here soon. And then we have the Plume network has announced a strategic integration with Tron to launch Skylink across the Tron network. Now, Skylink is Plume's omnichain RWA yield distribution protocol, which enables a secure, permissionless access to institutional-grade financial products across chains. They leverage Layer 0's sync protocol architectures, and Skylink ensures that yield is streamed continuously and transparently to users' wallets via mirrored yield tokens, while the underlying liquidity remains locked on each native chain, including Tron. We also have CryptoRank sharing the top chains by TVL growth in June 2025, and coming in at number 2 here is Plume Network with $230 million in TVL, which is one of the top growing chains, up 568% in June last month. And we also have the Plume CEO talking about the future of RWAs.
There's 3 things that make Plume differentiated and why you should build on Plume. Number 1 is tooling, right? Very simply put, compared to other chains, other ecosystems that have a broader focus and a broader mandate, they're not going to have the same level of expertise and tooling and depth that we have to take you from nothing to a tokenized asset on chain or some real world data on chain. Number 2 is go to market. We've done a good job of spending a lot of time on, educating retail, educating consumers, educating different people out there, bringing people into the ecosystem. And so you look at us today, you look at our Discord, our Twitter account, we're one of the most active people out there. We have one of the fastest growing communities in RWAs. And the very last piece is always liquidity, right? You want to create a network effect and a flywheel of liquidity. So it starts with tooling, right? The very first, just simple blocking and tackling. Number 2 is go to market ecosystem community. And 3rd is liquidity. You shouldn't have to know anything about RWAs to come and build on Plume.
And then lastly for today, we have John Smedley's studio raises $35.5 million for a new shooter built on Etherlink. So John Smedley, a gaming industry veteran and former CEO of Daybreak Game Company, formerly Sony Online Entertainment, is making his first foray into Web3 gaming with a new AAA shooter featuring Tezos' Layer 2 blockchain Etherlink. The Smedley-led Distinct Possibility Studios has raised $30.5 million in a funding round led by the gaming-focused venture capital firm Bitcraft and the European hedge fund management company Brevin Howard. The funds will be used to develop its new open-world massively multiplayer online first-person shooter, Reaper Actual, which it says will integrate Etherlink to enable tradable Web3 components like characters, bases, skins, and more. Smedley is most famous in the gaming industry for co-creating EverQuest, a 3D fantasy-themed massively multiplayer online RPG released by Sony Online Entertainment in 1999. He also co-developed a free-to-play MMO FPS, PlanetSide 2, which featured large-scale battles, supporting up to 2,000 concurrent players across massive areas of continents. And the latest funding round supports the accelerated development of Reaper Actual, a new AAA shooter that will be available on Steam, the Epic Game Store, via ReaperActual.com upon launch. So very big things for AAA games, the kind of thing we need for gaming and crypto gaming to really take off, because it has just been a rough cycle for crypto gaming so far. But overall, Bitcoin is looking great here. I do think we head back towards this range, whether it's today or tomorrow or by the end of the week. I think we want to retest this level very soon for Bitcoin. So I think very bullish times coming soon. That is the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.